Let's solve a very basic algebraic equation. Now the difference between an equation and an expression is you're going to start to see equal signs now. So sort of a very basic level kind of two-step problem. One thing that I like to do is I like to draw a line to separate the two sides of my equation, and keeping in mind the golden rule of algebra, whatever you do to one side, make sure you do to both sides of this equation. So remembering some things from Algebra 1, you probably remember that if you want to get rid of this positive 8 right here, you're going to subtract 8, which is totally fine to do. Just make sure you keep things balanced and subtract 8 from both sides. So I'll bring down what's left over. I have 4/5 times x and then equal to 20. At this point you have that coefficient of x, and yeah, it's a fraction, but whatever, don't let that bother you. Whatever's being multiplied by x, you could go ahead if you wanted to and just divide both sides by 4/5. Using a calculator, that's not too hard. I would just make sure you include parentheses around that. However, I don't really like dividing by fractions, so if you remember, you can also, instead of dividing by a fraction, multiply by a fraction's reciprocal to get rid of it. Reciprocal just means flip that fraction, so I'm actually going to do that, although dividing by 4/5 would be fine. So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 5/4. Multiplying a number by its reciprocal gets it to cancel out or become a 1, so x is all that's left over on this side. The other side of my equation becomes a 15. These are super easy to check. All you need to do is take that 15 you found for x and go back to the beginning and plug that in and see if you get a 20 when you check that out. If that made sense to you, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to try this next equation. If it didn't make sense to you, or you want to see this worked out anyway, in about a couple seconds my work will show up if you want to check that answer, try it on your own. Otherwise, if you have questions, email me, visit my website. There you go. You should have ended up with 4. Hopefully you did. Otherwise, ask me questions in class, or feel free to visit my website and send me a question.